If you think Apple's iPod revolutionized the music industry, think again. It was the Sony Walkman that changed how the world will listen to music on the go ever again, way back in 1979, 22 years before the iPod was launched. Bullet trains will take you from Tokyo to Osaka before you complete your nap, which ordinary trains took more than 6 hours to complete. What's common in these two revolutionary ideas? They were both born in Japan. World's first human-like robot, which could talk, blink, and breathe like us, was also developed in Japan. Japan has always astonished the world, be it by its amazing innovations or rising quickly from man-made or natural calamities. Adding to the list is one more feat that Japan excelled in which many nations failed. It was the privatization of the national railways. Let's see how Japan planned and succeeded in converting an enterprise as big as the Japan National Railway from state-owned to private. After the Second World War, the transporting needs increased because of high economic growth. This, coupled with absence of other modes of transport like airways and roadways, which were still recovering from the war, has put Japan National Railways in a dominant spot. But the high economic growth also fueled the development of other modes of transport. Due to its expanded organizational structure that spanned over the entire country, the JNR management failed to match customer expectations. This rapidly changing market and customer needs has put the JNR in a really bad position by the late 1960s. They faced huge financial losses and accumulated long-term debts. By now, the JNR felt a strong need to reform the organization, not only to cut the losses but more importantly, to provide better customer service. There were two major issues to be tackled by the JNR. First being the large organization structure which was difficult to manage, and second, operating under political influence which was evidenced by its operation of even unprofitable lines built only for political purposes. Privatization of the railways was suggested by the experts, and here's how it took place. The JNR was divided into two categories. The first category was passenger railways, which had 6 subdivisions based on geographical demand. And the second category was for transportation of goods. It was called Japan Freight Railway Company. To handle the distribution financially, a temporary holding company named Japanese National Railway Settlement Corporation aka JNRSC was established, and the new companies were formed as JNRSC's wholly owned joint stock subsidiaries. Now, the liabilities were transferred to the new companies only to the extent that they would not hinder the management in the future. Rest of the liabilities were assumed and disposed of by the JNRSC. The assets were also granted in a limited manner, which would just make sure that the new companies are viable as railway operators. This was done to ensure the competitiveness of the new companies. Rest of the assets was sold to public in order to compensate for the remaining liabilities. And now in operational terms, the first and foremost action after the division was aimed at reducing government control significantly. The vision behind this was to eliminate unnecessary outside interference and making management responsibilities clearer than ever. After the distribution of employees to these smaller private entities, there were still around 93,000 surplus employees. Some of them were transferred to other railway companies like Railway Communication Company, and others were assigned to the Settlement Corporation for relocation. The effects of privatization were visible soon enough. The small and simplified organization structure allowed management to make quick and efficient managerial decisions that responded appropriately to customers' changing needs. There was also a sense of healthy competition between the new railway companies. The Japanese National Railway privatization resulted in a huge success in terms of revenues as well. The Central and East Railway Company reported net profits of 625 and 359 billion Japanese yen respectively as of March 2018. Only Hokkaido and Shikoku railway companies reported losses due to their operation in less dense populated regions. To further understand the level of success enjoyed by the JNR, let's travel to Europe for a moment, as there are lots of similarities between the UK and the Japanese railway. Railway was brought in Japan nearly 150 years ago by a British engineer. Both the railways remained state-owned for a very long time until 1987 when JNR privatized, and then in 1994 when West Midlands, the British state-owned railway, was privatized. In UK, the privatization happened very differently than the JNR. The tracks were splitted from the trains. Simply put, the tracks are owned by a separate company and the trains were owned by another. So if a track is broken or a signal is not working, the train-owning company can't do anything about it. Whereas in Japan, it can be fixed real quick as it will fall under the region of one of the 6 railway companies. The level of government involvement is also significantly higher in case of British Railways, which results in increased political pressure. So what can we learn from these two cases? First, strong political support is very much essential to successful restructuring. And second, restructuring should precede privatization to increase the chances of success. This brings us to the end of this video. Please let us know your opinions on both the cases and don't forget to like, share and subscribe if you liked our analysis.